October 2024. Pokrovsk, eastern Ukraine. Russian commanders ordered their largest armored assault in months. 37 tanks, over 50 armored fighting vehicles, mechanized infantry battalions. Objective: break through Ukrainian defenses. Capture the city. They expected Ukrainian lines to collapse under overwhelming armored force. Calculated that sheer numbers would overwhelm defenders. They were catastrophically wrong. Within 48 hours, Russian forces lost 23 tanks, 38 armored vehicles destroyed or abandoned, hundreds of casualties. The assault didn't just fail. It became one of Russia's worst tactical disasters of the entire war. Ukrainian drones, anti-tank missiles, artillery, mines. Everything hit Russian armor simultaneously, turned the assault into a slaughter. This is the story of the armored push Russia instantly regretted, and why it changed their entire offensive strategy. Pokrovsk isn't just another Ukrainian city. It's a critical logistics hub in Donetsk Oblast. Road junction, rail connection. Supply routes converge there. Capturing Pokrovsk would give Russia operational advantage, cut Ukrainian supply lines, threaten Ukrainian positions across the region, enable further advances westward. Russian military planners identified Pokrovsk as priority objective in late 2024. Previous attempts to capture it through infantry assaults failed. Ukrainian defenses held. Russian casualties mounted without territorial gains. October 2024. The Russian command decided a different approach. Massed armored assault. Overwhelming force concentration. Breakthrough tactics reminiscent of Soviet deep battle doctrine. The plan looked sound on paper. Concentrate maximum armor at single breakthrough point. Overwhelm defenders through sheer mass. Exploit breakthrough with follow-on forces. Classic Soviet operational art. Russian forces assembled the assault group over 2 weeks. T-72 and T-90 tanks pulled from other sectors. BMP infantry fighting vehicles. BTR armored personnel carriers. Self-propelled artillery. Everything concentrated for decisive blow. Total force: 37 tanks. 53 infantry fighting vehicles and armored personnel carriers. Approximately 1,500 mechanized infantry. Supporting artillery battalion. Attack helicopters on standby. By Russian standards in late 2024, this was massive concentration. More armor than Russia typically deployed in single operation. Clear indication of Pokrovsk's strategic importance. Ukrainian intelligence detected the buildup. Satellite imagery, drone reconnaissance, intercepted communications. They knew something big was coming, and they prepared accordingly. October 12th, 2024. Early morning. Russian artillery barrage began. Hours of shelling targeting Ukrainian forward positions, softening defenses. Standard Soviet doctrine. Suppress defenders before armor advances. Ukrainian forces hunkered down in fortified positions. Trenches, bunkers, underground shelters. The artillery barrage was intense but predictable. They'd experienced this before. Waiting for it? Then Russian armor moved. 37 tanks in coordinated formation. Infantry fighting vehicles following. Mechanized infantry mounted, moving toward Ukrainian lines across open ground. Ukrainian defenders watched from concealed positions. FPV drone operators powered up systems. Anti-tank guided missile teams acquired targets. Artillery forward observers are called coordinates. Russian armor advanced confidently. Commanders believed artillery had suppressed Ukrainian defenses, expected minimal resistance, planned to breach Ukrainian lines within hours. They made it less than 2 kilometers before the killing began. Ukrainian FPV first-person view drones struck first. Small quadcopters carrying shape-charged warheads. Operators controlling them from kilometers away, viewing targeting through onboard cameras. These aren't sophisticated military drones. Commercial quadcopters modified with explosive payloads. Cost: a few $100s each. But devastatingly effective against armor. Ukrainian operators launched dozens simultaneously, swarming Russian columns from multiple directions. Each drone targets a specific vehicle. Precision strikes on tanks' most vulnerable points. Tank turrets, engine compartments, ammunition storage, optics and sensors. The drones dove from above. Impact angles defeating most armor protection. Russian tank crews had no effective defense. Anti-aircraft weapons designed for aircraft and helicopters. Too slow to track small agile drones. Machine guns are ineffective against targets moving erratically at high speed. Within 15 minutes, 7 Russian tanks were burning. Direct drone hits on vulnerable areas. Catastrophic ammunition detonations. Turrets blown off hulls. Crews killed or wounded. Russian formation faltered. Tanks stopped advancing. crews buttoning up inside vehicles, trying to identify threats. But FPV drones are nearly invisible until impact. Small. Fast. Coming from all directions. More drones struck. Infantry fighting vehicles hit. Armored personnel carriers disabled. Ammunition trucks exploded. Supply vehicles destroyed. The Russian assault was already failing. And Ukrainian anti-tank missiles hadn't even fired yet. Ukrainian forces positioned anti-tank guided missile teams at optimal engagement positions days earlier. Concealed. Pre-registered firing positions. Clear fields of fire toward expected Russian approach routes. Javelin missiles. NLAU systems. Stugna-P Ukrainian-made ATGMs. All top-attack weapons. Designed to hit tanks from above where armor is weakest. As Russian armor penetrated deeper into the kill zone, Ukrainian ATGM teams opened fire. Multiple missiles launched simultaneously from different positions. Coordinated strikes overwhelming Russian defenses. Javelin missiles use fire-and-forget technology. Operators lock targets, launch missile, immediately relocate. Missile guides itself to target using infrared seeker. Top attack profile. Strikes tank roof armor. Russian tanks have limited defense against top attack missiles. Reactive armor mostly on frontal and side surfaces. Roof armor is thin, vulnerable. Javelin warheads penetrate easily. Catastrophic kills. NLAW Next Generation Light Anti-Tank Weapon uses predicted line of sight guidance. The operator keeps the target in sight. Missile flies above target. Detonates shaped charge downward. Another top attack system Russians can't effectively counter. Within 20 minutes of ATGM engagement beginning, 11 more Russian tanks were destroyed. Infantry fighting vehicles burning. Armored personnel carriers abandoned by crews fleeing on foot. Russian formation disintegrated. No cohesion. Individual vehicles trying to survive. Some reversing. Some pushing forward desperately. Some stopped, crew dead or wounded. Command and control collapsed. Battalion commanders killed in destroyed vehicles. Radio communications jammed or disrupted. Units operating independently. No coordination. No plan. Just chaos. Ukrainian artillery had been silent during the initial assault. Deliberately. Letting Russian armor penetrate into pre-planned kill zones. Waiting for an optimal moment. Now they fired. Massive barrage. 155mm NATO-supplied howitzers. Soviet-era 152mm guns. Multiple launch rocket systems. All targeting Russian armor concentrated in the kill zone. Ukrainian forces had precise coordinates. Drone reconnaissance provided real-time targeting data. Artillery forward observers adjusted fire. Precision strikes on Russian formations. Artillery shells don't need to penetrate tank armor directly. Proximity explosions disable optics. Damage tracks. Injure or kill infantry riding on vehicles. Create shock and confusion. More importantly, artillery created obstacles, cratered roads, destroyed bridges, blocked escape routes. Russian vehicles trying to retreat found routes impassable. Trapped in kill zone under continuous fire. Some Russian tanks attempted to disperse, leave roads, maneuver across fields, seeking cover. But Ukrainian forces had mined likely escape routes weeks earlier. Anti-tank mines triggered by vehicle weight. Explosions ripped through tank tracks and hulls. Vehicles immobilized, crews abandoning damaged tanks. Fleeing on foot. Easy targets for Ukrainian small arms and artillery. The organized assault had become disorganized retreat. Then, the retreat became rout. Russian forces abandoning vehicles. Leaving wounded behind. Trying to reach friendly lines on foot. Ukrainian forces didn't pursue aggressively. Didn't need to. Artillery and drones continued striking fleeing Russians, maximizing casualties, destroying abandoned vehicles to prevent recovery. By October 14, 2024, 48 hours after the assault began, the Russian offensive had completely failed. Survivors retreated to starting positions. Left behind devastation, Ukrainian forces conducted battlefield assessment. Counted destroyed and abandoned vehicles. Results were staggering. 23 Russian tanks destroyed. Another 6 damaged and abandoned. Infantry fighting vehicles and armored personnel carriers. 38 confirmed destroyed. Dozens more damaged. Russian casualties were estimated at 400 to 600. Killed, wounded, or captured. For comparison, Russia gained 0 territory. Advanced 0 meters from starting positions. The cost-benefit analysis was brutal. Russia sacrificed enormous resources. Gained nothing. Lost irreplaceable equipment and trained personnel. More critically, Russia lost operational initiative. The failed assault consumed resources earmarked for other operations, depleted reserves, forced reallocation of forces from other sectors. Ukrainian morale soared. Defenders had repelled Russia's largest armored assault in months. Proved that Russian armor concentration doesn't guarantee breakthrough, that Ukrainian defensive tactics work. Russian morale plummeted. Surviving crews traumatized. Tank units decimated. Commanders relieved or reassigned. Investigation launched into tactical failures. The failed Pokrovsk assault became a case study in what not to do. The Russian military conducted an internal analysis, identified failures, attempted to learn lessons. But the fundamental problem remained. Ukrainian drones and anti-tank weapons created an environment where massed armor assaults are suicidal, and Russia had no effective countermeasures. The Pokrovsk assault failed for multiple reasons, each compounding the others. First, predictability. Russian forces conducted obvious buildup over 2 weeks. Ukrainian intelligence detected it easily. Defenders prepared specifically for massed, armored assault. Positioned forces optimally. Pre-planned kill zones. The attack held no surprise. Second, lack of combined arms coordination. Russian armor advanced without effective infantry support. Without electronic warfare suppressing Ukrainian drones. Without air support neutralizing Ukrainian anti-tank positions. Soviet doctrine emphasizes combined arms. Russia violated its own doctrine. Third, Ukrainian drone superiority. FPV drones fundamentally changed battlefield dynamics. Russian forces had no effective counter-drone systems. Couldn't protect armor from small, cheap drones carrying explosive charges. Technology asymmetry favored defenders decisively. Fourth, top attack anti-tank missiles. Javelin and NLAO missiles specifically designed to defeat Russian armor. Attack from angles Russian tanks can't defend. Russia knows about these weapons since 2022, but still hasn't developed effective countermeasures or tactics. Fifth, Ukrainian artillery precision. NATO-supplied systems combined with drone reconnaissance create precision strike capability Russia can't match. Ukrainian artillery hits targets on first salvo. Russian artillery fires massive barrages hoping for effect. Efficiency gap is enormous. Sixth, minefield preparation. Ukrainian forces had weeks to prepare defenses, laid extensive minefields on likely approach routes and escape paths. Russian forces drove directly into these obstacles. Poor reconnaissance, inadequate mine-clearing assets. Seventh, terrain disadvantage. Open ground approaching Pokrovsk offers little cover for advancing armor. Ukrainian defenders chose engagement positions maximizing their advantages. Russian armor was exposed throughout the approach. The combination proved lethal. Every Russian tactical weakness was exploited. Every Ukrainian defensive advantage was maximized. Result: catastrophic failure. The armored push in Pokrovsk that Russia instantly regretted wasn't just tactical failure. It was strategic disaster exposing fundamental problems with Russian military operations. 37 tanks, 53 armored vehicles, hundreds of casualties, gained 0 territory, failed completely. Ukrainian drones, anti-tank missiles, artillery, and mines turned Russian assault into slaughter. Defenders prepared. Russians predictable. Technology favored Ukraine. Tactics favored Ukraine. Results were inevitable. Russia attempted Soviet-style massed armored assault in an environment where such tactics are obsolete. Modern anti-tank weapons and drones make armor concentration a liability rather than advantage. The lesson should be clear, but Russia continues attempting similar operations elsewhere. Different sectors, same tactics, same results. Heavy losses, minimal gains. Pokrovsk proved Ukrainian defensive capabilities, demonstrated Russian operational failures, changed nothing strategically, but cost Russia resources it can barely afford to lose. That's why they regretted it. Not just tactical failure, waste of irreplaceable assets, loss of experienced crews, destruction of equipment Russia struggles to replace. And for what? Nothing. 0 territorial gain, 0 strategic advantage. Just another failed assault in a war Russia is slowly losing. If you want more stories about modern battlefield tactics, drone warfare, and how technology changes combat, hit that subscribe button for Battlescope. Don't forget to smash that like button and share this video with anyone interested in the Ukraine war and military strategy. Drop a comment below. Can Russia adapt to drone warfare? Or are massed armor assaults permanently obsolete? Thanks for watching. Stay sharp. Stay informed. And remember, in modern warfare, the best armor is not being seen.